All right. I should be good now. Let's check on everything. Yep. What's up, everybody? Ooh, I look like I just got done working out. I wanted to make sure I got live today before my day got too hectic. And just come check in with you guys, see how your Monday's going. I really wanted to talk about debt validations because one of the videos that I posted on TikTok that's going kind of viral, a lot of the comments could kind of be answered by answering what is a proper debt validation. And so let's talk about that for a second. So for those of you who are new here, what's up? My name is Markia. I'm known as the Money Plug here on social media. Hey T, I'm known as the Money Plug here on social media, and I'm a board certified credit repair specialist and credit score consultant. And I use my platform to teach you guys how to do this yourself. The whole repairing your credit, building your credit, kind of giving you that credit literacy, because a lot of times when people focus on financial literacy, you guys focus on the budget, you guys focus on saving money, but a lot of people really don't understand how credit works in order to incorporate that into their financial literacy. And that's where I come in. So I want to talk to you guys about what is a proper debt validation. When you guys pull your credit and you see debt on your credit report that you don't recognize, or that you're like, yo, like what in the, like the amounts are off, maybe the dates are off, maybe you've never even heard of this creditor before, something that you're going to want to do is a debt validation. And a debt validation is simply where you ask the company to provide you with all of the evidence that they have that not only a debt is owed and the breakdown for how much is owed and like what is it for, but they also need to provide proof that you are the party that owes that debt. Now, a lot of times when you guys initiate a debt validation, a lot of times they will only send a bill, which is so frustrating. A bill is not a proper debt validation. Anybody can type up a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet and say, this is what you owe, or printing out a monthly statement that they said that that belong to you. Anybody can print something like that out. They need to also demonstrate the relationship between you and whoever it is they're saying that you owe money to. So, for example, if this account is in collections and you send in a debt validation, and the company responds with a bill, they also need to respond with, when did you buy this debt from the original creditor? Like, can you demonstrate the relationship between me and the original creditor? And what I mean by that is, where's this proof coming from? How do you know that I'm the one who owes the original creditor? Like, where did you get this information from? And that's usually in the form of like a copy of the contract you signed, or the application that you filled out, or like a copy of a promissory note if you signed one of those. That demonstrates the obligation to the debt, if that makes sense. Alexa, make an announcement. It is too early for the screaming. My kids. I ain't gonna lie, they funny though. Okay. So when it comes to how do you ask for a debt validation, simply put, you're going to say it just like that. You're going to write a letter to whom it may concern. I recently pulled a copy of my credit report, and I'm noticing that you're reporting a debt and saying that I owe it. Can you please give me all of the evidence that you have that substantiates your claim that not only a debt is owed, but that I am the party that owes that debt? If the debt cannot be validated, you are obligated to remove this account from my credit report until it can be done. When you initiate a debt validation, the company has to do an investigation. Even if one has already been conducted, they have to pause reporting and collection efforts to, at the very least, get the results from the last investigation if you've already disputed this previously. Now, if you've never disputed this account before, what likely could end up happening is that you'll get a notification that the account was removed from your credit report. And this is another reason why I'm real big on, when a lot of these credit repair specialists on social media post, oh, I got all of these deletions in the first round. That's not an accomplishment. When a lot of times when these debts come off of your credit report in that first round, that's because they are initiating an investigation. When you initiate an investigation, it is illegal for a company to continue to report this account while it is under investigation, because the validity of this debt is in question, and it is illegal to report an unvalidated debt. So this is why I'm not enthused. I'm not surprised. I'm not happy when a lot of people be like, I got it deleted in the first round, because it could still pop back up on your credit report. And a lot of people don't understand how that works. This is called a soft removal. Whenever an account is removed in that first round due to the investigation letter that you sent out, that is because the company is investigating and they cannot report it again until they can produce that evidence that they have that says you owe this money. Now, if the account doesn't populate, that's cute. That's fine. A lot of times what end up happening is that account is then sold to another company for them to try their luck, because it's not about what's right, what's true and what's false. It's about what can you prove in court. So a lot of times, thank you so much for the roses. A lot of times when you guys get these removals, it's not because you don't owe the money legitimately. It's because these companies do not have the proper documentation to support their claim for it. Maybe they don't have a copy of the contract. Maybe they don't have a breakdown of the amount that you owe. So you got to think about it like that. It's not that you might not owe that debt, right? It's literally they just don't have the proper paperwork. That's kind of what you got to get in the mindset of. And this also goes to the people who are commenting on the video like, oh, if you would just pay your bills, shut the fuck up, please. And I know this is going to go on YouTube and y'all gonna be like, but I'm so tired of seeing that comment on my posts. My content is for people who need help. If you are somebody with an 815, if you are somebody who has never been late on a bill, if you are somebody who just, my content just doesn't do anything for you, please continue to scroll, because your comments are not doing anything but beating these people down. And that's not what we're here for. Let me tell y'all something. Bad credit does not make you a bad person. Having bad credit does not make you a bad person. It doesn't make you stupid. I don't care how old you are. There's no certain place you're supposed to be with your credit score in life. There's nothing necessarily wrong with having bad credit. Where the wrongness comes into this is if you know you have bad credit, you have access to the resources to fix it, and you continue to look the other way. That is where the wrongness comes into it. But having bad credit does not make you a terrible person or a bad person, as long as you are willing to put the work in to make the changes. I just had to get that out because I saw a lot of comments this morning berating people for having bad credit. When a lot of people, sometimes it's not their debt. Sometimes their parent messed their credit up. Sometimes, it's just so much that can go into this and you don't know someone's story. So I would very much rather you just not say anything. That happened to me when I used Lexington credit years ago. They all came back on my credit report. Yes, because when you... And I hate Lexington Law. And I am a former client of Lexington Law. When I first found out that I had bad credit and was doing research, everybody was like, oh, sign up for Lexington Law. They'll do it for you. They had this cool little military special. I paid like $100 a month for a year. And I got absolutely nowhere. Whatever they were sending out, it got the stuff removed initially. And the next thing I know, all of my accounts that were in collections were sold to different collection companies. And then those companies were pursuing me for the debt. And that's completely legal for them to do. If a company feels as though they've done everything that they can, they've exhausted all of their resources in order to pursue you for this debt, and you're still not paying, they have the right to sell that debt to someone else and to continue to sell it. Literally continue to sell it for the rest of your life. It's just that it can only report on your credit for 7 years. Now, there are some people who like they still get collection letters 20 years after a debt is owed, 30 years after a debt is owed. And that's not illegal. As long as it's not reporting on your credit, these companies can continue to pursue you for this debt. They just can't take you to court for it. Now, also, there have been some changes to like disclosures and things with the FCRA, and especially in certain states like New York and things like that, where now they have to disclose, like, listen, this debt, technically the statute of limitations is passed and we cannot legally pursue you for this debt, but we're just asking you to pay. So you'll see a lot of those in the future for debt that technically the statute of limitations has expired and they can't take you to court. Now, when you guys are disputing and you initiate the debt validation, they send you all the stuff you asked for. They send you a copy of your contract. They send you a breakdown of the amount of money that you owe and things like that. What is your next option? If it is a charge-off, I highly suggest that you enter into a settlement with that company. Now, I know a lot of y'all, and that's fine if I lose a couple people when I say this, but a lot of y'all get very, very upset when I say that you got to pay some of this money. Y'all want this stuff taken off and you don't want to pay for it. You don't want to talk to the companies. You don't want to really do anything. And that's not the proper way to do credit repair. Like there's no way around it. Eventually, there may be a time when you have to kick money out, and you have to be willing to understand that when you start this process. This is another reason why I am dead set. Like a lot of y'all be like, just dispute everything. I tell y'all, don't do that. When you dispute everything, when you dispute anything, really, you run the risk of one, being taken to court, and being taken to court, that can end with like wage garnishments, asset seizure, things like that. And you run the risk of resetting that statute of limitations. Now, a lot of people was on my video that I did with the script with the debt collector saying, oh, well, the only thing that can reset a statute of limitations is a payment. Yes, a payment can reset the statute of limitations, but acknowledging the debt can also reset the statute of limitations. Or if they can prove that all of the information that is attached to the debt is correct and you've confirmed it, that can also validate a debt. I've seen it with my own eyes. Now, if it's completely legal, listen, I'm not a lawyer. So if you can find a lawyer that's willing to go toe to toe with a company over that, that's fine. But usually in that instance, they have all the evidence they need to substantiate their claim anyway. So you go to court and you're still going to lose. Like, you have to understand what disputing is and how it works before you just start disputing everything. Because if you dispute everything and you have no money, and now one by one these companies are taking you to court, then and you don't have the money to pay, you're putting yourself in the bigger hole, because now they're going to start the wage garnishments, the asset seizures, things like that. I tell anybody who comes and sits with me for an audit, or any of my clients, we'll tackle these one by one. Or, okay, so what are you working with financially? Like, I'm not saying you got to have all of the money that they're saying that you owe, but you need to at least have a portion if the shit hits the fan, right? Because you got to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And you want to handle it before it goes to court if you're not one of those people that want to go toe to toe with these businesses. Who should the debt validation letter goes to, the credit bureaus or the companies? That's a really good question. So let's break down the credit bureaus and the companies. The credit bureaus are a figurehead. The credit bureaus hold no authority. All they do is repeat information. So they verify debt. They do not validate debt. And what I mean by verify is what happens when you send in your bureau reinvestigation letter and you're saying, hey, these accounts on this letter, I plan on disputing this shit. They're going to go to the company and they're going to say, hey, did you mean to report this way? And the company's going to come back and say either, yes, I did mean to report it in this way, or no, let me update that, or even let me delete that. And then the bureaus will kind of follow suit. The bureaus have no way to validate any information because they are not the data furnisher. They're just the ones repeating the information for lenders. The debt validation letters go to the creditors. They are the one who have to prove the validity of a debt because they are the ones that saying you owe them money. That's how that works. A lot of people get the two confused. And it's easily done, but the bureaus have no power. If you got to think about it like that, the bureaus have no power. They're just a figurehead. They're just the one who pass on certain information to the lenders. The creditor or the data furnisher, they are the ones who have the power. I paid LVNV portfolio and a medical collection, and now they're all now removed. Yes. So this is also an option. Jamaican Queen is likely referring to. So some of these companies do it automatically, and you can check a company's policy to see, but there are options. So let's say that a collection that you have is validated. They send you all the information that you requested from them in your validation letter. What are your options? If it's a collection and only a collection, what you can do is negotiate something known as a pay to delete. A pay to delete is where, in exchange for either a portion of the money that you owe or all of the money that you owe, they will remove the account from reporting altogether. When it comes to collections, you lose points for having a collection. It doesn't matter how much the collection is for. It doesn't matter if it's paid or unpaid. By having an account reporting as a collection, that is costing you points. The only way to recapture some of those points is to get the collection removed. And the only way to remove the collection and know 100% that it is not going to come back is by a pay to delete. Is it illegal to have utilization and missing payments on our credit? No. You know what? I just seen another TikTok video, and I know it's pretty far down on my profile, so I'll probably do another one. I just TikTok video where somebody was trying to convince people that it is illegal for late payments to report as well. And they tried to manipulate the FCRA into like, oh, look, it says it right here. They can't report late payments. Missing payments, credit utilization, and all that stuff can still report. And they're going to report. Oh, hey, girl. Oh, thank you. Especially if it's an original creditor. When it's an original creditor, they have an obligation to report the history associated with your account. So they're going to report all of the history associated with your account, made payments, missed payments, which payments were late, When was the account charged off? Have you ever paid it? If you didn't pay it, it's going to have a balance on there. So, you know, you want to make sure that your history is as clean as possible with these creditors. If your name is misspelled on a collection, can you dispute it? Yeah, you can dispute it, but that's not grounds for a removal. If you want me to be honest with you, like, they're not going to remove it just because your name is spelled wrong if they have everything else to support the actual debt. This doesn't have anything to do with the information that you're giving now, but I just have a quick question. I have 9 credit cards currently. Is that too many? That's something you have to decide for yourself. There's no set amount of credit cards that I'm going to be like, you should get rid of some. If you have 1,000 credit cards and you are actively using each and every one, and you are managing your credit utilization properly, then, I mean, that's fine. If I have accounts that are closed with past due balances, should I send debt validation letters to them? Yes, you should definitely send debt validation letters to them. And it's something else that I came across that was a unique situation, well, a unique question that I had never gotten before. Somebody emailed me because they were saying that a debt wasn't theirs. Like, they were dead set that a debt wasn't theirs. They had did a CFPB complaint and they could not figure out why this account wasn't coming off. And then when I took a closer look at the account, they were a co-signer for somebody and the vehicle was repossessed. When you co-sign for somebody, it's not just you lending them your credit so that they can get something. When you co-sign for somebody, that is you saying that if that person cannot pay their bills, then I'll pay it for them. And in the event that we can't pay this bill, you can tell the credit bureaus on us. That is what a co-sign is. And that is one of the reasons why I am dead set against you guys co-signing for anybody. I don't care who it is, your mama, your daddy, your grandmother. I genuinely don't give a damn. Whoever it is, like, stop co-signing for people. You can't hear me. On Instagram, can somebody tell me if they can hear me or not? Because somebody's saying they can't hear me. Can y'all hear me on Instagram? That's one of the reasons why I hate having so many. Okay, so somebody. Okay, so that must be that person's phone. Okay, thank you. Let me try to plug this in. What other questions y'all got? I knew I owed them with your audit and I'm in a better position to just pay and settle. Now, sometimes settling is the only option that you have, y'all. And I mean, that's okay. A lot of people be like, well, if it's not getting deleted, then I don't want to pay. And I get it, the frustration and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you really want to repair your credit, then you're going to do whatever it takes. And sometimes it takes settling that debt. Because let's talk about it. When you go to buy a house and they're looking at your debt to income ratio, any unpaid debt is going to be added into that calculation. That is and something else you guys got to understand is the difference between your credit score and your credit report. Your credit report can get you denied for things that your credit score would normally qualify you for. I tell you guys all the time about the guy who made an appointment with me. He had an 800 credit score and he was still being denied for items because he had too many inquiries on his credit report. There's other people who the debt that they have, even though it's owed, is debt that you're owed, right? Like, you owe this money, even though it's like years old, it's still reporting and you still have a balance on it. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes, even if they're not going to delete it, sometimes a settlement is the only option you have to ensure the improvement of your credit stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to plug this Ethernet cord up so that my computer is not only relying on the Wi-Fi, because I hear the jets out today, but I also can't see this cord, this box. I'm going to have to do it later, I guess. Let's look at some more of these comments. Can we get... Oh, wait. Are you accepting new clients and what are your prices like? Yes, I'm accepting new clients. If you click the link in my bio on TikTok, what's up, Shark? If you click the link in my bio on TikTok, it'll take you to my website and you can click on Become a Client. I offer 2 kinds of services, a credit audit and a full service credit repair system. So you can look at those. It's different tiers, but everything that you need to know is regarding costs and what's required of you is on that website. I had a closed account that was sold, but the address is an old address that I haven't lived in for years. I mean, but you still lived there. So here's the thing. Even though you might not see it when you pull your report, if you pull your LexisNexis, all of your old addresses are going to be reporting there. And so if you've ever been tied to that address, then legally they can still report it. Now, you can dispute it all you want, But at the end of the day, if they validate that debt, then you are obligated to pay that debt. And what a lot of you don't understand is that if you dispute a debt and the debt comes back as validated, right, and they update the date of last activity and everything, what's going to end up happening is that you could reset the statute of limitations, which is how long a company has to sue you. I'm just admiring the fact that you're live on both apps. Listen, my setup is crazy. I use StreamYard. I'm on Facebook, on my business page, and in the Facebook group. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm just trying to spread the message. Can we get original account charge-offs deleted from my credit profile? So when it comes to charge-offs, they are harder to remove. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Those are harder to remove because these are the original creditor. This is who you signed the contract with. So it's likely they still have all the information they need. In the case like that, it's really hard to prove that they don't have what they need to collect or report on a debt. Now, I'm not saying you can't dispute it. Of course you can. But the likelihood of you winning the dispute is kind of low. Lower, let me say that. So I owe Synchrony Bank, but it's in collection now. If I want to do a pay to delete, who do I contact? The collection company. So one thing you also have to understand with the pay to delete is that collection companies are not obligated to do it. You are at their discretion. So that's my son. Alexa, make an announcement. Can somebody grab my door for Deuce, please? So when it comes to collections and negotiating the pay to delete, if they tell you no, they're not going to do it, they're not going to do it. And it could be the person that you talked to that day, so you can hang up and try calling someone else. You can look into the company's policies, but you are that's at their discretion. They don't have to do it. I have a medical debt from New York, apparently, that is keeping me from hitting 770. It is not mine. I literally was on the other side of the country when it happened. So so then I would suggest requesting a debt validation. When you do a debt validation, you guys need help? Yeah, you can. It's fine. Just only let him in. It's fine. I'm live, but he's fine. Hey, boo-boo. Leave the door open. I didn't say close it. Come on, babe. Some fruit? Yeah. Yes. You want to eat? Do you want to eat breakfast? Uh-huh. Oh, wait. Monty, he wants to eat breakfast. Go ahead. You want some fruit and hot dog? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Close my door back, Monty. I guess that's just what he wanted to tell me. Thank you, baby. So when you request a debt validation from this hospital, what you're going to be looking for is signatures. That's a big thing with medical debt, especially medical debt that does not belong to you. You're going to request signatures. You're going to ask like, hey, I need all of the documentation that you have that substantiates your claim that I owe this debt. And you're going to dig through that paperwork, Mike. You need to make sure that the consent to service or whatever they call it for a hospital, you need to make sure that's in there. Look and see if you got any HIPAA authorization or HIPAA release forms so that you can get the actual documents regarding like the service and things like that to prove that it wasn't you. And if you got anything to prove you on the other side of the country, you can kind of combine those things and then send it back to the creditor like, this isn't me. Oh, hey, Giselle, love you too. I disputed those collections so many times to have it removed and it never happened. Okay, but how are you disputing? That's another thing that I'm noticing with a lot of people. They'll be like, oh, I disputed it and disputed it and disputed it, and it's just not coming off. Okay, but how did you dispute it? And then they have no idea what I mean by that. What did you say to these people? Number one, you should not be submitting online disputes. I'm just going ahead and pop that bubble. Online disputes are not for your benefit, especially if you're doing it through the company that you're accusing of inaccurately reporting. They're always, the thing about the credit bureaus is they're not here for you. Let's be abundantly clear. Nothing these credit bureaus do is for you. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because if it comes out that someone, if it comes out that it was their fault, the fault that something was reporting inaccurately, that could cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why would they acknowledge any kind of responsibility? So when you guys are disputing one, I personally suggest sending them letters. And then how did you dispute? Like, okay, somebody gave you dispute letters, but what dispute letter did you use? Did you understand the dispute letter that you sent? Like, as far as strategy goes. So what was your reason for disputing it in your letter? Were you just saying that I'm disputing the validity of this debt? Did you say there's inaccurate information reporting? Did you say it wasn't me? Like what strategy did you use? Because that's important. And then you also have to understand that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. So if you kept disputing using this same tactic, then you have to switch up your strategy with disputing. When doing a pay to delete, do you just make the payment with your debit card or how do you pay? All right, so me personally, if I'm paying debt and stuff off and they don't have Apple Pay, which is probably the most secure way of paying for something, they'll typically use my Cash App card. I'll put the money on my Cash App card, and I'll just pay it with that, because with my Cash App card, I can cut that hoe off and make sure that they're not taking more than they need to, or like in the event that my information is stolen. So just pay the charge off. I personally say if you can try to dispute it, if that's what you want to do, you could try to dispute it, right? And then if you lose, all right, just settle. But the thing about a charge off is the quicker you settle that debt, the better for you, because whenever you pay a debt, that re-ages the account and it will now report for 7 years past that payment. Does that make sense? Like you're resetting the time it's going to report to the credit bureaus. So the sooner you handle charge offs, the better for you. Hospital debt is very hard to dispute most times. We have all the information and request medical records. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially if the hospital has a debt management department instead of using like a separate debt collection company. That makes it even harder because technically this is a part of the hospital. So of course they have access to all that stuff. Most times when it comes to medical debt, if it's just so high that you guys can't cover it, I always suggest look into what kind of angel programs your hospital may have or your area may have, or look into grants that you may qualify for if you are considered low income. When I'm gonna be honest with y'all, a lot of people get offended when I say this, but the majority of us are low income. And it's not because we're poor or like we broke. And I think a lot of people take it that way. That's not what I'm saying. But if you look at what is considered low income in America, you'd be shocked. You'd be like, what? I'm low income, girl. I got a car. I own my home. How am I low income? But you'd be surprised. And that actually is a good thing because it qualifies you for things that you normally wouldn't be able to qualify for. I cannot plug that one thing in. Okay. Shit, I'm about to just hire you. Credit has my pregnant self so damn confused and overwhelmed. Oh, don't be. It's not that you're confused. It's just that you got a lot of information and you don't know where to start. Like, and I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people just tell themselves they can't do it. A lot of people just like, I'm not doing this shit. It's just too fucking much and I just can't handle it. Don't tell yourself that. Sit down and actually start the process to understand what's going on with your finances. Because even if you hire somebody, there's still a certain level of responsibility you have for maintaining this credit. Good credit is not a destination. It is a journey. There are decisions that you'll consistently have to make to ensure that you are staying on the right journey. And so even if you hire somebody, that's not going to solve all your problems if you don't understand what is going on in the meantime. Hey, I'm live. Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you. The letter just stated to remove it immediately. According to this person, you could do that even if you owe the debt. That's not true. Telling a company that they have to remove the debt is not going to make them do it. Think about it like this. If any of y'all got kids, I don't know if you have children. If you tell your kids to do something and they don't want to do it, what makes you think they're going to do it? Like, maybe because my kids are still small. Because if I tell my son go do something, he's going to look at me like, no. Or he might not say it, but his face is going to give very much no. And then it won't get done. So you can't just say remove it and think that it's going to come off. You got to have a reason behind it. You're making more sense than what this person told me before. That's so sad. Do you suggest my FICO or Smart Credit? So I'm not going to lie to you. I have both. But here's why. I have both. I love how Smart Credit has my information. When I pull up my report, it makes it easier for me to compare the information like side by side. I can compare dates and amounts and things like that to make sure that all of my accounts are reporting accurately all the way across the board, literally because all three reports are side by side. If you've ever seen any of my presentations, I have examples of what like an Identity IQ or Smart Credit report looks like, and I just love how it looks. Plus, Smart Credit offers things dark web monitoring, identity monitoring, things like that. And as a victim of identity theft multiple times, I just very much value that. And I also have my FICO because depending on what your goals are, that's going to determine what score you need to be looking at. And eventually, right, home ownership is going to be my thing, right? Eventually, I'm going to buy a house. I'm not ready yet, but eventually I'm going to get there. So having this My FICO membership allows me to monitor my mortgage scores specifically so that I can keep an eye on my progress. Should I pay credit cards in full before the installment loan request? Huh? Well, here's the thing. The lower your credit utilization is, the higher your credit score will be. So if you're looking to make a major purchase or add another account to your credit profile, I suggest paying your cards off. Apply for financial assistance or make sure at the time of service they have your correct insurance. This is for medical debt. She works in the medical field. I'm close to giving up too. No, don't give up. No. Don't give up, y'all. Like, listen, and I know this sounds really crazy, right? So, because I have a credit repair business, but I am so pro DIY. And the reason why I'm super big on, even with my credit repair clients, I do place a lot of the burden on them, because when you do this yourself, that is such a fulfilling feeling. Not only that, you understand what happened to ensure that you don't end up in this situation again. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I have a Facebook group that you guys can join. It's called Plugged In, the Credit Clubhouse. If you click the link in my bio, you'll see all my little, it's like literally a little button that'll take you to my Facebook page. And under groups, you'll see Plugged In, the Credit Clubhouse. I'm answering questions in there. All of my lives are recorded in there. I got some free letter templates in there for you guys. Like, I'm so pro DIY. Like, like, I just feel like when you do it yourself, it means more, and you got more skin in the game. Do your services assist with the negotiating settlements for charge-offs? Yes. When I negotiate, even if it's settlements or pay to deletes, when I negotiate, I always start at 20% of whatever the original cost of the debt is. And then we kind of go back and forth with the lenders from there to see what works for the client. I've hired Lexington Law and Credit Pros, and I've been with both for a year and no improvements. But why don't you have any improvements? I guess it's another conversation we should have, huh? Like, so when it comes to hiring people, one thing that you guys need to understand is that okay, I can't speak for everybody else. Let me say this first. I don't issue no kind of guarantees. Everybody credit is different, so every result will be different. Not only that, you have to make sure that you are doing everything that you're supposed to do as a client, because if you are doing credit repair the right way, there's no way that you don't have any improvements. And what I mean by that is, with the credit cards that you have, is your utilization high? Because if your utilization is high, that's going to be, that's 30% of your score right there. So if your utilization is high and you're not paying down your credit cards, then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing either to aid in the improvements. Here's the thing about credit repair. The thing about time is that it's always going to go past, right? Time is always ticking. Time waits for no man. It doesn't matter what you're doing in the meantime. Time is going to continue to tick. As time goes on, your credit will still improve if you're doing the right thing. It's just that the items that you want removed will still be there. You can still improve your credit with negative or derogatory items reporting. It just takes more time. So when people be like, I've been with these people for years and I've been spending all this money and I haven't seen any improvements, this also means that you are not doing what you are supposed to do as a consumer to ensure that you are in the best position credit-wise. I pulled my report and I need a step-by-step guide. I offer a service called a credit audit. This is probably my most popular service, and honestly, it's my favorite service. This is where I sit down with you guys and your credit report, and we go over everything. I tell you everything that's wrong, what letters you need to be sending, how they might respond, how to respond to their responses, and I give you specific credit building accounts or tools that I feel would best benefit your credit profile. The biggest thing that a lot of people don't understand with credit is that what works for someone else may not work for you. So you guys get into these credit repair groups and you see somebody got $25,000 with a bank, and you guys want to instantly get that bank account or instantly get that credit card. You don't look at me. You don't need it. You don't need it. Stop adding things to your profile because you're coveting the success that other people have. You need to know where you are financially so that you know exactly what works for you. The word of the day, people, is discernment. Practice discernment. That's the biggest tip I can give you. Stop thinking that what everybody else is doing or what everybody else has done is going to work exactly for you if you're not understanding how this works. If you can't tell me how your credit score is calculated, if you can't tell me how credit utilization works, if you can't tell me the minimum payments and things like that for your credit cards, even, like, then you are not in You are not in the best position. You need to educate yourself, whether you're hiring somebody or doing it yourself. You guys have to know the basics when it comes to credit, the basics. I hate that TikTok uploads my comments in batches. I'm stressed and overwhelmed too. I blame myself all the time because I know it's my fault. Stop beating yourself up. Again, right? Bad credit does not make you a bad person. It doesn't make you an idiot. It doesn't make you stupid. It does just because you're 40 or 30 or 50 with bad credit doesn't make you a horrible human being. And you did not waste your life and you didn't fuck up, right? All right, you made a couple mistakes that kind of led you to this current position. Now, what are you going to do about it? That's going to be what determines if you're stupid or if you're a terrible person and things like that. You know where you are now. Now what? Instead of beating yourself up, take that time, educate yourself, do the right thing. I hired them for 6 months and it was not worth it. Lexington Law, I'm not surprised. Damn, I'm really on the verge of tears because this is so stressful and I knew I could have done better. No, and it's only stressful because it's a lot of information. And a lot of times you don't know how to process this information because for most of us, our first time being exposed to this information is as adults. We don't have this kind of training in schools, which would have better served us. So it's best to take it in doses. I do the free workshops every month that you guys are more than welcome to attend, where we break down things like what is credit, how are credit scores calculated, how to read a credit report, what does credit affect, because a lot of people think that credit is just your ability to go into a bank and get money, not knowing that credit affects where you live because it affects your rental options. It affects job employment because some jobs will deny you if your credit is bad. It affects your interest rates on student loans. So it's definitely going to determine whether or not you get in school and stay in school. So, credit affects a lot more than people think. But you got to understand, you got to have a good foundation for financial literacy in general in order to really grasp these concepts. I don't have installment loans, only credit cards, high score, but no credit diversity. I call it a lopsided credit report because you need installment loans. And I'm not saying to go buy a car, and I'm not saying to go buy a house or go get a personal loan knowing you don't need it. There are other tools out there that will allow you to have something reporting as an installment loan, but it's for your benefit. For example, Self has something called the Credit Builder loan. You select how much money you want to save, right? And so it'll determine how much money you are going to be paying every month. And you get up to 2 years. So you can slide. It's like a little slider. You adjust. It's really cute. You slide it to see how much you're going to pay every month, how much you're going to end up saving, and how long you're going to be making these payments. And at the end of the life of this loan, right, when you're done paying it off, you actually get a check or a direct deposit and the amount of the money that you paid into this because you're paying into a certificate of deposit. I love Self. Self is an amazing credit building tool for people who normally would not have access to, getting a loan because of their credit scores. So for you, I would suggest Self. 90% of the time, the patient ignored corresponding request. After that, we can bill you. That's for medical debt. And yeah, you're right. I see that a lot of times. A lot of times people will ignore the letters from the hospital saying that they still have an amount owed, then get the collection and be like, oh my God, what is this? I have no idea. When doing the pay to deletes, how many business days do they have to respond? Technically, there's an argument right now saying that they did not extend the COVID time. So a lot of people are saying 30 business days, but I say still give them 45 business days because it's supposed to be 30 business days from when they received the letter. So you got to give them some mailing time, right? Processing time, things like that. So I'm going to tell you 45 business days. I've been trying to fix my credit since 2018. I've been wasting money for help. I'm close to not caring. So if you've been spending all that money that you've been spending with people, you could have been using to pay off the debt that you have. She's pretty. Oh, thank you. I know I had a credit agent almost $400 in 2020, and I've seen little to no improvement. And I don't have much on my report. I mean, compared to a lot of others I know of, or stop looking at other people's credit report. Stop talking to other people about what's on their credit report, because what's on their credit report and what's on your credit report is different. And how it affects you is going to be different. So if you don't have a lot on your credit report, what are you paying all that money to the credit agent for when you could be using that money to build your credit? And then the crazy thing is a lot of you don't even have bad credit. You just don't have credit, which is just as bad, but it's just as bad, but you can build credit. It takes you some time to really establish a solid credit profile, but you can build credit. You don't have to pay somebody to do it for you. How does a pay to delete work? A pay to delete is when you offer a collection company either all of or a portion of the money that you owe them in exchange for them to cease reporting to the credit bureaus. And because when you have an account in collections, you lose points for having the account in collections, not for the amount. So paying it isn't going to get you points back and things like that. But by doing the pay to delete, you are ensuring that not only are you settling the debt so that they won't resell it, right? But you're making sure it's not going to repopulate after they remove it. Hang in there. Don't let stress win. Yes. Do you send every letter certified? No, I do not. Y'all be wasting a lot of money on that certified mail, especially because the credit bureaus specifically don't give a damn about y'all certified mail. I'll never forget. Somebody was on a live with an employee, a former employee of TransUnion, and that man was like, "We do not care that you sent that shit certified." He said, "We do not care that you sent it certified," because there was a point in time when credit repair specialist was finessing and sending empty letters to the credit bureaus certified, making it seem like they sent disputes in and then waiting and saying, "Well, we sent this dispute in and you never responded," but the credit bureaus never got anything. So they don't care that you sent it certified. All of the letters are going to be processed in the order that they received them in. That shit is so expensive. I sent 3 letters out and it came out to almost $20. Ma'am, I am spending $53 per letter. Now, if I'm going through the dispute process and I'm either not getting responses or there is something specifically that requires me to send it certified or a signature or something like that, that's different. But like for the regular process, no, I'm not sending them certified. I'm gonna be 1,000% honest with you. Unless my client specifically be like, "I want to send it certified." And if that's the case, that shit coming out of their money, not mine. I got 15 more minutes, y'all. What other questions y'all got for me? Oh, somebody said, "I love self. It helped me tremendously." And here's the thing about these accounts that you add to your credit profile. It's not the account that is getting you points. Let's be clear. So adding a Navy Federal credit card is not going to give you, it's not going to give you points, right? Because it's Navy Federal. You get points by the type of accounts that you're adding and what your credit profile needs at that time. For a lot of you, you don't need another account. You need to better manage the accounts that you have. And for some of you, you don't really have any accounts, so you need more accounts. Hey, Jelly. How do you know when they receive it to start the countdown or how long they have to respond? It's a guesstimate, right? So when you're not sending them certified, you know how long it takes somebody to get a letter, right? You know how long it takes somebody to get a letter. But I'll usually give them like 3 to 4 like weekdays or whatever. After that, I'm starting my fucking clock. Like I'm not like exactly on the 45th business day busting a door down. It's usually a guesstimation because even when they receive it, they still have to process it. So you got to give them time. I'm going to look into your groups and stuff. Yes, so I have a Facebook group. It's called Plugged In the Credit Clubhouse. If you look up the Money Plug, LLC on Facebook, you'll see the signature locks. You'll see me. And if you look under groups, you'll see it there. This is a safe space. I don't allow predatory lenders or scammers or anything like that in my group. I am very protective of the group. I'm literally, if you go through the group, I'm under every single post answering the questions. I take my group extremely seriously to make sure that everybody has what they need to be successful. Can you give me an example of how to word a pay to delete letter? Yes. So listen, record this. So for those of you who need a pay to delete, I always wonder, like, how can I record this? Screen record this right quick. You ready? All right. If you are sending a pay to delete letter, pretty much what you're going to say is, "Hi, I recently pulled a copy of my credit report and I'm noticing that this company is reporting a debt that I supposedly owe. I am not accepting ownership for this debt. I am not accepting responsibility for this debt. I am, however, concerned on the effect that this account could have on my credit report. In exchange for you removing this account from my credit report, I am willing to give you X amount of dollars." You can decide how much you're going to give them. If you agree that in exchange for X amount of dollars, you will remove this account from my credit report, then I will send a certified payment of X amount of dollars to this company, right? Immediately upon receipt of an agreement. Immediately upon receipt of a letter from you on the company letterhead agreeing. And then I always add the blurb at the end, like, if you do not agree to this, then I will be forced to do a debt validation. It's literally that simple. Nothing too complicated. And me with my clients, I start at 20% of whatever the debt is. I don't give a goddamn how much it is. I used self for my kids for Christmas. That took such a burden off of me. That's literally what I use it for. Everybody know I got a lot of kids. So I do self. I've been doing self every year since like 2015. And I use it for Christmas because it keeps it's a way for me. I'm really bad at saving money. I'm going to be honest with you guys, because in my head, if I got it, I'm going to spend it because I can't take it with me. So self allows me to save money and build my credit at the same time. How to determine which credit monitor. Hey, listen, you missed a lot because I only got 10 minutes left, but the replay is going to be up. The replay is going to be up on YouTube as well as Facebook. So if you want to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, my channel on YouTube is WWTMPD. What would the money plug do? So how to determine which credit monitoring service is right for you. The way to do this is to identify what your goals are. So, for example, if you are somebody who is looking to buy a home, the credit monitoring service that you select should be showing you your mortgage scores. Because remember, there are multiple scores, right? When it comes to mortgages, you're going to want to look for your FICO 2, your FICO 4, and your FICO 5. If you are looking to buy a car, you need to make sure that the credit monitoring service you select shows you your FICO auto score. If you're looking to get a credit card, you want to make sure it's showing you your FICO credit card score. So whatever your goals are, that's going to help you choose what credit monitoring service that you should be selecting. I personally have two. I have my FICO and Smart Credit. And shout out to y'all. I don't know if T's still in here. T, Poncho, it's a couple of y'all who be calling me out with the Pepsis and stuff. I've been doing really, really well. I'm down to like one Pepsi a day almost. Yeah, I'm down to like a Pepsi a day. I could say that. I've been drinking homemade smoothies. For those of you who don't know, I have diabetes. And tropical smoothie got a lot of sugar in it. So I started making homemade smoothies. I started working out. So I'm doing really good with my health because of y'all. Y'all hold me accountable. So thank you guys. Thank you. I bought a house equals student loans. Once that's gone, I'll try. What do my FICO and Smart show? So Smart Credit only shows you your Vantage score, which is important because some lenders still use it. So you should be monitoring your Vantage score. But I use Smart Credit because I like how it presents my information. When I pull up my 3B reports, it has all three of my credit reports side by side, which makes it easier for those of you who are repairing to identify inaccuracies. It makes it so easy because you can literally just go across and you'll be able to see what is reporting, what's off, if any dollar amounts are off, any dates are greater than 30 days apart, if account numbers don't match, things like that. Smart Credit also offers like identity theft protection, dark web monitoring, and things like that. That's why I like Smart Credit. My FICO specifically shows me my FICO scores. So my FICO base scores, which is like my FICO 8, my FICO 9. It shows me my FICO mortgage scores, my FICO 2, 4, and 5. It shows me my FICO auto score, my FICO credit card score. So that's why I have two. Now, you don't have to have two. That's just my preference. That's how I do it. All right, y'all, got a little over 5 minutes. Come on, give me y'all questions so I can answer them. Give me your questions. I hate that TikTok uploads the comments in batches. Is there a free website that shows all the side by side? No. If you go to annualcreditreport.com, they did extend their COVID policies of like you get one free credit report a week until December 2022 now, but it's not side by side. You would literally have to print out each individual credit bureau's credit report, and then you would have to like flip through all the papers and compare it like that. So it's a free credit report, but it's not side by side. I refinanced and it took 18 points off. Whew. So when you refinance, this means that you closed your previous loan and you opened a new loan. Whenever you close an account or whenever you add a new one to your credit profile, your score is going to drop. And that's because your credit profile has to now adjust for the changes that are now reporting to the credit bureaus. As long as you're making your on-time payments and things like that, it'll go right back up. I have a self credit card and the loan with them and don't even understand how to use it. What? So I like self, the loan itself is just a big savings account. So whatever you put for your loan amount, that's going to be the amount that you save using self. Now the credit card operates just like a regular credit card. It has interest. I think it has interest if I'm not mistaken. It's just that your credit limit is set by how much money you have on the card or whatever, and you can pull from your loan to add money to your card to increase your credit limit if that's something you're interested in, which could help with like if you struggle with utilization and stuff like that. So if a company sends you a settlement letter, is that a bad thing, or do I go for a pay to delete? So here's the thing. Pay to deletes only work with collection companies. So if it's a collection company, you can counter offer.
Markia, here's your reminder.
Alexa,
got an appointment.
Dismiss. All right, I got 5 minutes. So if it's a collection company, you can kind of counter offer like, hi, I received, this letter. Alexa, dismiss.
Markia, here's your reminder. Got an appointment.
Damn. Alexa, show me the home screen. Okay. So like you can counter offer them like, hey, I received a letter for a settlement and I am willing to pay X amount of dollars in exchange for you to cease reporting to the credit bureaus. It's literally that simple. Thoughts on pay bill pay to maximize rewards on credit cards I'm setting up for mortgage. I've never heard of, you just want PayPal bill pay. I've never used it. I've never suggested it to my clients because there's a way for you to maximize your rewards on your credit cards without using PayPal. I mean, literally just by using your credit cards, you can stack up rewards and stuff for your credit cards, right? So, excuse me. What I typically tell people when it comes to your credit cards is that you need to be using these more than your debit card. And I know for a lot of you, that sounds like counterproductive, right? But if your balances are already low and you've paid your cards all the way off and things like that, I need you to adjust how you're spending. Every credit card needs to have a specific assignment based off of its rewards. So if you have a card that offers 3% cash back on things like groceries and gas, that needs to be the designated grocery and gas credit card. I even went and got a label maker to label my credit cards on the back so that I know what I'm supposed to be using these credit cards for. Each credit card needs to have a specific assignment. And if you don't have a specific assignment for that credit card, you don't need that credit card. But each credit card needs to be used every month. But every time you use your credit card, it needs to be paid immediately. Like you should only be using, like credit cards should be supporting or rewarding the spending you're already doing, not encouraging you to spend more. So for example, if I know that I'm about to go to the gas station, I'm going to take my gas credit card and I'm going to use my gas credit card to get gas. And whatever it says up there, that's what I'm going to schedule for a same day payment. This is ensuring that I'm using my credit cards to maximize the points and things that I can get from it. However, I am better managing my credit card debt because I'm not allowing it to sit and I only spend money that I actually have. Paying recurring mortgage with a venture card to maximize points. If it allows you to do that, go for it. As long as the venture card is actually going to give you rewards for it. Is this statement date? Okay. Is the statement date and due date the same thing for credit cards, and how do you use them correctly? No, it's not the same thing. When it comes to your statement date is at least 21 days before your actual payment due date. And you want to make sure that you pay your card balances down prior to your statement date, because it's after the statement date is when they go to the credit bureaus and be like, yo, this is how much of their money they're using. This is when they report your utilization. So if you pay your credit cards down before that date, when they go to report to the credit bureaus, they're going to report low utilization, which maximizes the points that you get in that section. That's 30% of your credit score, y'all. So that's maximizing the points that you get from that, as well as at the end, when they draw up your monthly statement, the amount that they say that you owe for your bill or whatever is going to be mad low. First steps to making a family business or corporation. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about credit right now. All right, I got 2 more minutes, y'all. 2 more minutes. Let me get these last couple of questions in. What y'all got for me? Now, for those of you who missed the majority of the live, this live is recorded and being broadcast on YouTube. So literally, as soon as I get off the live, you'll be able to go to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to watch the entire thing. My YouTube channel is WWTMPD. What would the money plug do? If you guys have questions, if you're on TikTok, my email address is in my bio. Please don't hesitate to email me. Just give me a couple of days because I do get a lot of emails, but I'll make sure I get back to you guys as soon as I can. I also have a Facebook group. It's called Plugged In the Credit Clubhouse. If you search the Money Plug, LLC, and on Facebook, you can like my business page, right? And then under groups, you'll be able to see my Facebook group. That'll really help you guys. So with the statement date, due date, you're making two payments. You're making two payments if you don't want to pay interest. Even though you get more points paying a debt in full, is it still good to pay a settlement? That's one of those questions that's like, how much money do you have to give? It's all about where you are financially. Yes, of course, it's a good idea to pay all of your debt in full. But if you don't have it and you're really trying to settle this debt, then just settle. Don't wait until you get all of it. Just go ahead and settle. It's not like it's going to cost you points because you paid less. It's not costing you points. It's just, it'll probably say like settle for less than owed, which everybody's like, oh, that's not attractive, but neither is an unpaid debt. So pick your battles here. I got to get out of here, guys, because, well, you know what? Maybe I can pull it up. Hold on. Computer froze. Jesus. Hold on. Let's see if I pull this up. If the person hasn't logged in yet, I might stay on longer. Come on, give me some more questions I can hurry up and answer. What other questions can I hurry up and answer? Oh, okay. Okay. So I'll just have to make this screen smaller. Y'all don't got no more questions for me? None? Okay. Okay. All right. Now I can watch my Zoom and you guys just in case the person logs in. All right. If a company doesn't agree to a pay to delete, should I try to do a settlement then? Yes. If a company does not agree to a pay to delete, then a settlement is the only option you got. Is there any way to build my credit age? By adding account. Your credit age is how long have you been building credit? So, by adding credit to your profile, and you got to consistently add credit too, because you guys got to think about it. With a loan, right? A loan has a shelf life. After you pay it off, it's only going to report for 7 years after that. And then after that, it's going to fall off. So that's going to also change your credit age because it's not going to be reporting anymore, right? So you got to think about it like that. Now, what I've been seeing lately, it used to be we would tell you like, oh, if you get added on as an authorized user, you get all of the previous history associated with the account. But I've noticed, and I don't know if this is only some credit cards, but sometimes you don't get all the history associated with the account. You only get from when you signed up moving forward. So maybe that could be an option for you. Getting added as an authorized user to someone else's account. But honestly, the only way to build your credit age up is by building credit. Which my FICO option is best? Whichever one is helping you accomplish your goals. Should I pay a charged off Macy's card that's 5 years old? That's one of those things that you have to ask yourself. Is it keeping you from accomplishing whatever goals you're trying to accomplish? How bad is it hurting your credit? Are you in a financial position to pay it? That's one of those decisions that you're going to have to make for yourself. Is it a good idea to take out a loan to pay down on a credit card? Not if you're struggling with making payments. If making payments is your problem, then getting a loan to pay something else off is not going to be the solution, because then you're going to fall behind on those payments as well. But if you have like a super high interest rate on that credit card, you're really good at paying your bills, and the interest rate for the loan that they're offering you is lower than what the card is, then go for it. Oh, wow, that's why mine dropped. I had 7 years and it dropped to 3 years. Yes, because that previously reporting account has fallen off your credit. Is there a different letter to do a settlement than a pay to delete, or basically the same thing? It's kind of sort of the same thing. You're literally saying, hey, I pulled a copy of my credit report and I'm noticing that you all are reporting a debt that you say that I owe. I am willing to give you guys X amount of dollars to consider this debt paid. That's literally what you're saying. It's just that you just got to tweak it. So you can use the same pay to delete. If you already if you already drafted up a template for yourself for pay to delete, you can just tweak it a little bit for a settlement. Since Capital One doesn't do pay to delete, is paying the only option. Only collection companies do pay to deletes. Original creditors do not do pay to deletes. You can only do a settlement. Now, you can dispute it all you want, but if you lose the dispute, your only option after that is to settle. What should my credit diversity be? Credit cards, installments. And so how it works is there are 3 types of credit, right? There's installment loans, credit cards, and then there's open credit, right? Which is usually like charge cards and stuff like that. Like they're kind of classified with credit cards, but not necessarily. So you want to like have a good mixture of those. And then when it comes to the installment loans specifically, there are 2 types of loans. There's short-term loans and long-term loans. Short-term loans are loans with a term length of 2 years or less. Long-term loans is greater than 2 years. So you want to have a good mixture of all of this. A good like baseline that I typically tell my clients to work towards is that you should have at least 3 credit cards, 1 short-term loan, and 1 long-term loan reporting on your credit at all times. I'm not saying you guys need to go out and open up all of these accounts at once, but that's definitely something to work towards and then, try to maintain. I disputed a charge with collection company and Experian. Neither investigated the dispute. Did they not investigate the dispute, or did they not give you an answer that you liked? And if they didn't investigate, then you can file a complaint because that's illegal. You also want to make sure, how do you know they didn't investigate? When it comes to filing a complaint, you guys got to make sure you have as much information as possible supporting the fact, whatever it is you're claiming against the company. So I would send a couple different letters and kind of work it like that, but no response. Okay, so a couple things could have happened. What you should do is send those letters again. I don't know if you sent them certified with the signature, but send them certified with the signature. And then when you get the confirmation and the time passes again, you can add that to the evidence you already have, and you can file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They both admitted they didn't investigate. That don't sound right. Okay, well, if they admitted that they didn't investigate, then you can file a complaint. I just paid my last car payment. So do I need to find another long-term loan, or will that still report for 7 years? It'll still report for 7 years. And when it comes to long-term loans, I'm not saying y'all got to go out and buy another car or buy a house or something like that. I typically tell my client, if you are not in a position to have a long-term loan, then double up on something else. So maybe add another something reporting as a short-term loan, or maybe get another card or something. But you need to have that number of accounts, because you still got the history, right, associated with that. So just make sure you got something reporting. This person is not logging in, y'all, so I guess y'all got me for longer. This is actually really good. I'm gonna give y'all 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna head out, because I didn't even eat breakfast today and I need to eat because I'm starving, especially after working out. Y'all got anything else for me? Any additional questions? Again, if you guys missed the majority of the live, please, it's recorded on YouTube. You guys can subscribe to my YouTube channel at WWTMPD. What would the money plug do? This is also saved on my Facebook page, as well as inside of my Facebook group. It's also on Twitter. You can watch it there. Experian said to dispute again, and FCO said the original creditor said it was valid. No investigation. Technically, that's considered an investigation. An investigation requires that they go back to the original creditor, since they are not the data furnisher. And if they went back to the original creditor, then that's their version of an investigation. And any information that they gave you after the fact came from the original creditor, not necessarily them. And so they can't control what information the original creditor gave you. So if Experian is telling you to dispute again, then dispute again. And then you can dispute it. But here's the thing. Why are you disputing with both of them at the same time? That's another thing, because one, Experian can only verify, not validate. So disputing with Experian isn't going to do anything if the original creditor is still saying that this is a valid debt. And it's likely that they probably completed an investigation previously. So no, they're not going to reinvestigate. They're just going to keep telling you that, no, we already did that and it's valid. Give us our money. How do you remove old addresses? But first, you need to make sure that all of your accounts, your actively reporting accounts, you need to make sure that they all have the most up-to-date information on you. And then you're going to petition to have those other accounts removed. Now, the thing about removing those accounts, right, is that if an address is tied to an old account, positive or derogatory, it's not going to come off because that company is currently reporting that address. So you need to be able to identify the relationship that address has with the accounts on your credit profile. But it's literally simple as a letter. Some people call and can get their addresses removed, but you can also send a letter saying, hey, this is my name. This is my address. This is my previous address. This is my birthday. This is my social. This is my phone number. Anything outside of this information is reporting inaccurately and needs to be removed. What other questions? Hey, girl. What other questions y'all got for me? It's the hand clap for me. Hey, you Jay. Y'all got me for at least another 5 minutes. Wait, how long have I been live? Yeah, it's been an hour. I need to go eat. What else y'all got for me today? Oh, let's talk about this week right quick. So last week's workshops went phenomenal. Shout out to everybody who attended, including the one that I did for the college and high school graduates. All of the money that was raised for the workshop was donated to the 22 A Day Foundation. So I'm super excited about that. Thank you guys so much. I did reschedule. I rescheduled the third-party reporting agency workshop. It's called Snitches Get Stitches. That's going to be on the 9th. And I think I'm going to redo the college graduate one as well because everybody keeps asking me for it and for the replay. But can you remove a married name? Yes, if that name is no longer attached to any accounts. Like if you got accounts, whether positive or derogatory with that name on it, then you need to go and update that name on that account and then try to remove that married name. But I've removed my previous names from my credit report, so I know it's possible. No, for real. You know what? And we talked about that earlier too, about not throwing away denial letters. About the statute of limitations, but I talked about that Friday about not throwing away denial letters because it's the most valuable information a company can give you when you get denied for something. TikTok really irritates me with that. Filtering y'all comments out because then when I only see a piece of y'all question, I can't really answer it. Well, y'all know how I do. When a question slow down, I skedaddle. So if you guys missed the live, like I said, it is going to be recorded on all of my platforms, so you guys can go back and check those out. I'm going to get back to work since I'm going to get a lunch break today. But if you guys have any questions, my email address is in my bio. Please send me an email, or you guys could check out my Facebook group. I answer every single question in the Facebook group. As well as all of my previous lives are also saved in there for you guys to view. I have some free letter templates available in the Facebook group as well. It's just a lot of information in there. But thank you guys so much. I probably won't go live for the rest of the day, but we'll kind of see how that turns out. In the event that I don't see you guys for the rest of the day, y'all know what I always say. Live every day like it's your last, but pay your bills and wear condoms just in case it's not. And I will see all of you tomorrow? ? I think I might see y'all tomorrow. Bye, y'all.